Learn how the Trump tax cuts will impact your railroad retirement. Welcome everyone to another edition of the Highball Advisors Railroad Retirement Whiteboard. My name is John McNamara of Highball Advisors, and today we're going to talk about the recently passed, I guess they're called One Big Beautiful Bill, the Trump tax cuts, and specifically how it's going to affect your railroad retirement. All right, so as I look through it, President Trump, as he was campaigning, was talking about no tax on Social Security, right? That was his pledge, no tax on Social Security. So how does that affect railroad retirement? I don't get Social Security, I'm railroad retirement. So the Tier 1 portion, okay, uses Social Security rules. So when you hear Social Security, that's really your Tier 1 portion of your railroad retirement. All right, Tier 1 Social Security, Tier 2, think of it as a pension. So it's not going to affect the pension. However, it's not really no tax on Social Security. What they did is they increased the senior deductible on the taxes. So how much you can deduct on your taxes, because they actually couldn't reduce the tax on the Social Security / Tier 1. So I'm going to walk you through how that's going to affect your railroad retirement so you can understand it that way. All right, so what they're talking about is a $6,000 tax deduction for anyone 65 years and older, all right? And so if you're single, it's income, right? There's income qualifications on it. So if you have a taxable income of $75,000 and under in single file, you can get, or 65, you can get the $6,000 deduction. Now, if you're married filing jointly, up to $150,000, you can get $6,000 each individual over 65, okay? And that would be $12,000. Now, what's interesting about it is it doesn't even require you to even be on railroad retirement. It's just a deduction for seniors at 65 and older. So they just build it as no tax on Social Security, just assuming that you're 65 and collecting your railroad retirement / Social Security. All right. Now, the important thing is it runs from 2025 to 2028, then it's sunset and goes away. And then there's also income phase out. So that $6,000 gets reduced for a single person up to $175,000 of income, and married filing jointly up to $250,000 worth of income. All right, so let's work through an example here on the no tax on Social Security portion of it. So like I said, I like to use examples, so I'll show you the kind of real world impact. So the current standard deductions that are available right now for 2025 is, so married filing jointly is $30,000, right? So you have income, and then you take a standard deduction, which 90% of taxpayers take. You can take $30,000. Single is $15,000. Now, however, for individuals 65 and older, they give you an additional deduction of $1,600 an individual, so that's $3,200 for that household, and $2,000 if you're single. So that's the existing. So now what they did is they added what's here in the green. So for married filing jointly, right, both people over 65 and older, you get $12,000, and single, you get $6,000, okay? So that's basically what they did, is they just increased their standard deduction through 2028. So let's give the example of what the real world impact on that. So let's say there's a railroader and married, they're both over 65. Okay, individuals Tier 1 is $3,000 a month, Tier 2 is $1,500, spousal Tier 1 is $1,500, right, 50% of the Tier 1, and then $675 on the spousal Tier 2, 45% of the Tier 2. And let's say they have a 401k and they're drawing down an IRA. Out of that, $2,000 a month they're taking out of the IRA. So what that would do is it would give them income of $8,675 a month. All right, taxable income is $96,000. All right, so you say, well, John, that doesn't add up. Just remember that the Tier 1 portion only 85% of it's taxable. So therefore, the whole taxable income is $96,000. All right, for the year. So let's take our $96,000. Standard deduction is $30,000. You get that. You're a senior. You get the $3,200. Now the new part here is the $12,000. Okay, so on this income here of $96,000, their taxable income now is $50,800. So giving them an effective tax rate of a little bit over 11%, 11.06%. And their tax bill, federal, just federal, is $5,619. Okay, so that's the new way starting in 2025. So how much does this individual actually save on this? So $96,000, right? $30,000, $3,200 for seniors. So their old taxable income was $62,800. That was 11.24%. Okay, and they had a tax bill of $7,059. So at the end of this whole no tax on Social Security / Tier 1, they saved $1,440 on their overall taxes. So that's something. Never going to laugh at money, but that's for the whole thing. That's what we're looking at on the tax situation. All right. So, like I say, taxes are a big part of retirement planning. You got to really understand taxes to really have a great retirement. So feel free, if you want to reach out to me, go through my boarding for railroad retirement process. I do a lot of tax part of the boarding for railroad retirement process. Please share this video. Put in your comments. Please share it. I appreciate it. And until next time, everyone, please stay safe, stay on track, and take care. So long, everybody. Bye.